I'm Josh.
I'm Banks. We are Odd Places Going
Viral.
Viral. Josh, I spoke to a woman recently, a friend of mine. I was talking to her about working on a project with me here in Lake County.
Okay.
And she said, Banks, you need to go to this leadership class. Leadership class.
Leadership class. Does she think you need leadership?
The project that I'm working on is about being a leader. So she said, do it, and do it because of networking. You have no idea who you're going to meet.
I thought this was like one of those like, Banks, you need a piece of gum, which is basically just telling you your breath stinks. So I thought she was trying to tell you that your leadership ability or qualities really suck. Banks, you need leadership. But if it's just for networking.
Two things. One, does she think? I mean, she said for networking, not for leader. She didn't say leadership. She says it's a great networking experience.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing: you have to apply to get in. They only take so many people. It goes for 9 months. Let's see.
Is this a political thing?
It's not a political thing. It's a leadership thing.
But is it for people running for office?
People from office have done it, have been in it. People not in office.
Is it designed for people that runs for office? Because I've heard about a program that helps people run for office and get used to.
This is not specific.
Sounds really familiar.
This is not specific to people running for office. This is specific to leaders in a community. The head of the library system. The head of municipality. The head of let's see, a charity organization.
So she's whoring you out, basically.
She's what?
She's whoring you out.
No. She just said do it because.
So you can sell yourself.
I could. Yes, I guess I could whore myself out.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing: $1,050 to do it.
For 9 months.
It's one or two times a month. It's a whole day. It's a whole day thing. It's like 8 to 5.
Okay.
They give you times when you can have your phone and when you can't have your phone. You go. You learn about everything. You learn about how county government works, how state government works, how local government works. You learn how the police department works. You learn the hierarchy of the library system, the hospital systems.
Interesting. Are you thinking about doing this?
I am. I've given it serious thought.
I don't think it doesn't sound much like a whole lot of networking, though. I mean, granted, there's some people in there, but you're going to see the same people the entire 9 months.
24 people.
Wow.
Is what they want. Last year or 2 years ago, they had 33 people, and she told me there was a little too much for 33. It's better if it's 24. 24 people. State representatives have gone through it. Heads of hospitals have gone through it.
Is this something you can put on your resume?
Oh God, yeah. I think when she said networking, she was like, you get to meet the movers and the shakers. You know what? You get invited to the table. That's the point. You get invited to the table. Granted, you pay $1,050 to get to the table, and then she's like, okay, now it's up to you.
Seems like a small price to pay.
You think so? Would you do it if you were thinking?
If I were running for office,
or a leadership role, any leadership role.
If I were running for office, I would do it. Any leadership role? No. Not just leadership role.
Just
general.
Running for office?
That's too broad. If I was running for office, I would do it.
The head of a hospital system.
No.
The head of water management. All right.
I can't really see any of the reasons to do it except running for office.
Because why?
Because running for office, you do want to learn how municipalities work. You want to learn how the city works and how the police. That stuff you need to know.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be possibly enacting policy, so that makes sense. You need that broad swath of I need to know how all this stuff works and the networking part.
Oh, because you meet the chief of police, you meet the sheriff, you meet the sheriff went through it, by the way, too. A lot of political appointees and political.
Yeah. It really just sounded like a good play for politics. It's a good politic play.
Why?
Because that's what it's about.
Oh, because it's about networking?
Pretty much. That's what politicking is. I think actually by definition.
Politicking is who you know?
Is being likable. to enough people to get elected.
Being likable.
To enough people to get elected.
So you're saying to run for president,
Isn't that politicking?
Who is the most likable person, or who is the most?
Would you vote for someone you don't like?
Wow, would I vote for someone I don't like,
Yeah.
even if I believed in their policy?
But you don't like them.
I don't know if I've ever, because I don't like them. Wow, I don't. You don't on the presidential level, even on the state level, federal level. Do you really know these people? Hi, I stand for this. This is my my platform.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Okay, I like yes, no, maybe, and then you weigh the pros and cons. What about this one? No. Oh, that one has a buck tooth. I don't want to vote for people with buck teeth. I mean.
But at some point, if you really don't like someone, you're not going to vote for them. You might vote for people that you don't particularly like a lot, but if there's someone you really dislike, you're not going to vote for that person.
Okay. So two people you don't like, and you got to vote for one.
Right. That's where politicking comes in, where you can just be the least unlikable, and you're in.
It's like who can I have a beer with? Who would you sit down and have a beer with? Do I have a beer with Joe, or do I have a beer with Janice?
Exactly. And whoever chugs the fastest, that's who you vote for. That's my personal rule. That seems to work.
Whoever chugs the fastest?
Yeah, whoever gets that beer down really fast.
Why?
Then you vote for the other person.
Oh, because they're a wino, or they're a drunk, or?
Because they don't know how to savor life.
Oh.
They're missing out. They're not tasting. They're not present. So I would vote for the other person.
All right. So how much does humor play into it as far as being likable? You got to be funny?
Humor helps a lot. Humor is probably, it's in the top 3 of qualities you better have.
To actually run for something, to be a politician, to get people to vote,
to be likable.
Yeah, and then to get people to vote for you.
Yes.
All right. So humor, you got to have humor in there. You got to be funny, right? What about being unusual?
That's a tricky one. There's good unusual, and there's bad unusual.
There's creepy unusual, and then there's good unusual.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what is bad unusual? His eyes are too big? He looks like he's got crazy eyes?
I saw something today that I think might describe it. If you want to sound creepy, be overly specific. So I went to my friend's house today, John, the house I have not burnt down, that's still standing.
Yeah.
Isn't that just weird? Like, I went to my friend's house, the one that I did not burn down, that's still standing. See, why the specifics make it sound really creepy.
Okay.
So that's like odd, but creepy.
Okay. I see the point.
Because you don't need to tell me that you haven't burnt it down if you're not planning on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
it's the same thing as
I went to
boneless.
my friend's house.
It's the same thing as boneless ice cream too.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's very odd and creepy.
Okay, it is. Okay.
And I would use it.
So what about being specific with the point you're trying to make? Being articulate and specific at the same time of a point that you're trying to make.
Yes, but not over specific.
Okay,
Don't go too far
I
with
get
it. Otherwise it gets creepy.
How do you simplify? How do you simplify the tax code? How do you simplify it to make it so that a 5th grader can understand it, a 4th grader can understand it?
You don't simplify it, you redesign it. That's the only way. You completely redesign. You can't just go in and redesign. No, you got to completely start over. Start over. You got a rat's nest. What do you do with it? You just clean it out.
You get lots of cats.
Or you have a house that's got mold in the wall, and it's got structural issues. You can try and repair it. It's not worth it though. Raise it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Raise it and then rebuild.
So I'm like, oh,
Okay. So
Yeah.
That's my point. I like to be articulate, and I like to make sure that a 5th grader can understand it, and not to talk down to people. And you saying, don't be over specific. I'm not going to talk about the house that hasn't burnt down yet kind of scenario.
Yeah, well, don't talk about the 5th grader. Don't talk about talking to people like a 5th grader. Not because not because you think they're stupid, not because you think they're idiots.
Is that too much?
That's too much. That's too much.
I just did it.
I want to talk to you like a fifth grader, not because you're stupid.
All right.
See, that's too much details. It's too many details. You don't need to add that. Leave that part out.
I got it. Wow.
How about just talk to them like a fifth grader instead of telling them that you're doing it because you think they might be stupid.
Got it. Are we going to do this episode? I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
Odd Places. Going viral.
Viral. What do you mean, are we going to do this?
We already did.
Oh.
We already did.